Hello there, Eliza here, and 25 years ago, Digimon was created as a virtual pet, the successor to Bandai's Tamagotchi, but with more of a focus towards those who enjoyed things like Tokusatsu, Godzilla, and US comic books of the late 80s and early 90s. A few years later, in March of 1999, a 20-minute movie, Digimon Adventure, premiered in Japanese theaters, and the day after that movie aired, Digimon premiered on Japanese television. Not long after this, Haim Saban, who had already successfully adapted Super Sentai for Americans as Power Rangers and helped bring the Marvel animated series of the 90s to life, saw this IP that wore those influences on their sleeve and bought the licensing rights, and less than 6 months after it aired in Japan, it aired in the US, premiering in August of '99 on American televisions as part of Fox Kids. Digimon quickly grew a fan base. In Japan, Adventure 02 aired its first episode 1 week after Adventure ended, while here in the US, we had to wait over 2 months with Adventure ending in June and 02 premiering in August. A certain comparison began to form when about 1/3 of the way into the series, Ken, a character who had been controlled and manipulated by evil forces, joined the 02 Digidestined, and it is that comparison we are here to talk about today. That comparison being to Saban's first major success in adapting something from Japan, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which should need no introduction as it is a cultural touchstone, but for those who need a quick reminder, in the late 80s Saban kept trying to get an adaptation of Super Sentai greenlit in the US, but it wasn't until the success of X-Men, the animated series, that he was given the go-ahead to do so, creating multiple pilots and eventually having the show premiere in 1993. Today I will be giving the Ranger powers of the Mighty Morphin era to the 02 kids, though I will also be including Willis, as he was always the honorary 7th member of the 02 kids, and there are 7 Mighty Morphin Morphers. So with that introduction done, let's get to it. First off, let's start with the most obvious, Davis. Davis is the leader, has a bit of a rivalry to other characters, TK and Ken, and is kind of 02's replacement for Tai, who has a T-Rex-like Digimon in Agumon and Greymon, while Davis does have the Draconic Vmon, him being the leader, strong-willed nature, and willingness to trust Ken after he turns good while still having rivalries, makes me believe he should have the Tyrannosaurus powers of the Red Ranger. Next off is another easy one, Ken. Ken would be the Green Ranger, as that was the reason Digimon 02 had a lot of Power Rangers comparison jokes back in the early 2000s. Those Power Rangers jokes would be furthered by later Digimon series like Tamers and even more so by Frontier, but Ken is where it started. There are other reasons Ken would be the Green Ranger, as he was also one of Davis's rivals, just like Tommy and Jason were for a while, before becoming an incredibly close-knit team just like these two, and thus Ken would be the Green Ranger. Let's move on to the third one, and this one is going to take a little more convincing. Yoli would be the Blue Ranger in my mind, with the Triceratops power. Now you might be wondering why Cody isn't that. Well, Cody isn't the same logical person Billy is, but Yoli is. Out of the 02 kids, Yoli is the second smartest behind Ken, though since Ken is already the Green Ranger, I couldn't really have Ken also be the Blue Ranger. Other things that aid me in making this decision is the fact that Yoli was part of the computer club alongside Izzy the year before 02 began, and the other reasoning was realizing what Cody should be. Cody should be the Yellow Ranger. Cody is sensible, trains in a form of combat as a way to center himself, and acts as a level-headed member of the group. I always felt they gave Cody and Yoli the wrong Digi-eggs. Cody should have had Joe and Mimi's eggs, while Yoli should have had Izzy and Sora's. Cody is reliable and sincere, while Yoli is knowledgeable and has a great deal of love in her heart. And I feel the only reason they didn't do that in the show was because of stupid reasons. But since Trini is sincere and reliable, and Cody is that as well, they both train in a form of combat, take part in meditation, and act as the level-headed center of their respective groups, it is only right for Cody to be the Yellow Ranger and Yoli to be the Blue Ranger. We only have 3 left now, and none of them are probably what you think they'd be because all 3 of them have things that could set them up for being the White Ranger. All have minor things making them possible to be the Pink Ranger, and 2 of them have things that point to them possibly being the Black Ranger. Possibly all 3. In fact, I felt I had to get a little creative when looking for reasons for the last 3. So for the Black Ranger, I looked for anything any of them had that could be similar to Zack or Adam. This was not easy, but eventually I settled on TK being the Black Ranger. And it's all completely thanks to the episode where TK confronts Ken, Davis's secondary rivalry with him, and the Power Rangers comic. You see, in the Power Rangers comic, Zack had some darker thoughts at one point and was approached by Rita, who offered him power, which he wound up refusing. And we can kind of see a bit of this darkness when TK confronts Ken about Chimeramon. Also, Zack and Jason do have a little bit of a rivalry going on, but it's more of a friendly rivalry than the straight-up rivalry that Jason and Tommy had when they first met. Also, you definitely have TK's rivalry with Davis really early on to go along with the early on rivalry between Jason and Zack. That was more of a friendly thing, but TK's and Davis's rivalry is more of a relationship one, which thankfully that never happened in Power Rangers. Kind of. But when you add all of that together, I hope you can see my argument for TK being the Black Ranger. As for Kari, I think she should be the White Ranger. Not only is she the Digidestined of Light and the White Tiger Ranger's power sometimes called the White Light, and Gatomon's armored Digivolved form of Nefertimon, Mon is the closest to looking like a tiger. Plus, she has the potential to act as a leader. Also, one could view the fact that she is constantly connected to Homeostasis, the god of the digital world that is even greater than Yggdrasil, who also created the Digivices and Cress, as being similar to Tommy having a power directly created by Zordon. Seriously, out of these three, this was probably the easiest one once I figured out what the other two would be. Which leaves us with Willis as the Pink Ranger. And I know many of you are wondering why I chose him to be the Pink Ranger. And it actually isn't because that's what was left. To be honest, I already mentioned that Kari is the one I gave the remainder to. It's because as I laid the last three together, TK, Kari, and Willis, and decided which one each of them should be over the other, that's when it hit me. Kim in Power Rangers was known for her compassion and never giving up on someone who was turned evil, like Willis did with Kokomon. From there, it was easy to note a few other similarities, namely the fact that Willis and his Digimon are very acrobatic. Seriously, in the Hurricane Touchdown movie, you can watch him go up a ladder to the top of a roof, run across the roof, and then jump down off the roof within a matter of a minute. Yeah, Willis would be good at parkour. I could have had the more flirtatious nature he had in the Japanese dub when meeting Yoli to kind of lean him towards being the Black Ranger. As Zack was very flirtatious, I still felt that his actions towards Kokomon reminded me of Kim's taking in of the cat that turned out to be Cat, which is why I ultimately decided that Willis would be the Pink Ranger. With that all said, that would be how I would hand out the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Morphers to the 02 Digidestined. And to recap it for everyone, that would be Davis as the Red Ranger, Ken as Green, Yoli as Blue, Cody as Yellow, TK as Black, Kari as White, and Willis as Pink. But again, this is my opinion, and if you have suggestions for how you would hand out the Morphers to the 02 Digidestined, please let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this rather short video, please like and subscribe, and remember that sharing the videos helps the channel grow. If you want to help me make these videos, I have a Patreon starting next month. I'm hoping to have episodes premiere on there 2 days before they premiere on YouTube, and I will be making sure to upload my scripts to there the day before the videos release. It also gives you access to my Discord server, which is still under construction. I also have a Twitter if you want to interact with me on there. I sometimes go a week without posting, but I'm getting better at remembering to do so. With that all said, I hope to see you all next time when my Does It Hold Up of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Episode 1 should be finished.